what I've seen from this guy since coming off the campus at LSU in his final year at LSU and what he is doing for the Cincinnati Bengals needs to be commented upon. What he has become and what he is a stone-cold quarterback assassin. That's who he is. That's what the Cincinnati Bengals drafted first overall, and he is coming for you. And he came yesterday for the quarterback that I have called the Mandalorian quarterback, Josh Allen, coming for your souls. He's the guy who comes for you, running downhill, and when he's not running downhill, he's firing one of his howitzer-type passes in your secondary's direction. But with the snow coming down in western New York and Damar Hamlin in the building for the Buffalo Bills and putting up the heart sign from his suite and being shown on the screen at Highmark Stadium for all the fans to see is truly one of the most emotional moments I've seen in a football stadium in one of those settings where the opponent is essentially a speed bump on the way for the home team to win a football game. And Cincinnati, as you know, hosted the Bills on the night where Damar Hamlin almost died on the field. And they're the team in Buffalo, New York, now having to overcome the emotional moment that was something that even they have to be emotional about as well, because they watched Damar Hamlin on that turf too. They watched Damar Hamlin be brought back to life on that turf too. They were also a team on that field that said, we're not playing tonight. And even with all of that, Joe Burrow got the ball first and jammed it down the Buffalo Bills' throat. Just jammed it right down the field. And then the defense gets a 3 and out. And that defense balled out yesterday too. And then Burrow gets the ball back and jams it down their throat again. He started 9 for 9 for 105 yards and 2 scores in the western New York snow. That's cold, man. That's why his nickname is Joe Burrr. He's ice cold. He found Jamar Chase for the first touchdown. Hayden Hurst hadn't scored a touchdown since week 5. And then that offensive line, much maligned, protected him and road graded for Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine. The Bengals as a team following Joe Burrow's lead spanked the Buffalo Bills. That's what they did. And the Bills looked like a team that couldn't get it done in the snow and was plodding in the snow. And the big plays that they needed from Josh Allen just could not materialize in the snow. And Stephon Diggs wound up barking at his BFF. And by all reports, needed to be brought back into the locker room because he departed early after the game, that upset as to what happened on the field. The Bengals went in and stole the souls of the Buffalo Bills, snatched it, and moved on to the AFC Championship game again. And yes, the Bengals defense deserves a mention, and also more than just a pat on the back, and the offensive line and the run game. But folks, Joe Burrow has turned the Cincinnati Bengals into back-to-back AFC Championship game participants, and I can't believe that. And that's why I think people can't believe it, because it's the Cincinnati Bengals. I looked at my children yesterday, my lovely children, and I said to myself, these kids are going to grow up thinking the Bengals are winners.
well, yeah, in their world.
The Bungles is not real.
And everything about this guy, Burrow, I'll say it, I didn't believe it. I did not believe it when I heard some of the top-notch evaluating professionals in the NFL talent evaluation community talk about a comp for Joe Burrow coming out of college being Tom Brady. And this guy's Brady 2.0. I know he's got a long way to go. I totally get that he's a long way to go. But in terms of pre-snap, neck up, knowing exactly what the hell he's doing and where to go with the ball, how many times have we seen Burrow in these playoffs get the snap and he just spikes it right down on the ground because the protection's not there and he knows it? Because the defense is going to cover what he wants to do, and it's much better to just spike it in the ground than try and force it in there. And he knows it. That's a Brady thing. Get the ball out quick. That's a Brady thing. Protect yourself, even though your offensive line might not. That's a Brady thing. And then coming for your souls is a Brady thing. Winning in Western New York against the Bills, that's a Brady thing, isn't it? Not to, I truly do not intend to rub salt in the wound. I'm just trying to point out what I'm seeing here and what is unfolding here. Joe Burrow lost his first 2 December starts last year. As we all know, in his first season in the NFL, he didn't make it to December because he suffered a knee injury and was knocked out. Burrow lost his first 2 starts last December. He has not lost a start in December, January since. That's 13 in a row yesterday for Joe Burrow. One shy of Joe Montana's streak. That's second best all time. And 4 shy of Patrick Mahomes' streak of 17 that Burrow personally broke last year. His 5 playoff wins at his current age of 26 is the most ever by a quarterback drafted first overall. That's one better than Terry Bradshaw's 4 in a row that he got in his first Super Bowl season at age 26. There you have it. You need somebody who can win when the chips are down to make the playoffs. And when you're in the playoffs, you need to win when the chips are down. Just ask, sorry, I'm making my point here, TJ, Dallas Cowboys fans. What does Joe Burrow do? Puts the team on his back and says, I shall lead you. And I'll do it without showing a single pulse. Like Roger Federer. Good Lord, what he is doing is unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, Chiefs fans, this is the last team they want to see him. He's not lost to Mahomes yet. And we're all focused on last year's game between Allen and Mahomes, and that's the future. And Joe Burrow raised his hand the next week and said, what about me? And he's kept it going as the Bengals make it back to the AFC Championship game, and the first team ever to do so by losing a Super Bowl, following it up by falling into the dreaded 0-2 hole and making it back to the AFC Championship game. 7 teams in the history of the NFL started 0-2 and made the AFC Championship game. The Bengals are the 7th, but they're the first to ever do it after losing the previous year's Super Bowl, which we all know is the dreaded hangover there. I can't make enough of what we're seeing out of Cincinnati. Joe friggin' Burrow. And I'll cop to it. Chris, I was talking to you yesterday about this too.
Yes, sir.
You came on the air one day in the middle of Burrow's final season on his way to the national championship and his 60 touchdown passes at LSU. And you're like, there's a mock draft where he's going to go first overall. And I'm like, over Tua? Come on.
I brought up that dude from CBS like a month straight, and you're just like,
get out of here with that. What is that guy thinking?
Who is this guy?
I know. And he's turned, and Burrow with each passing December and January start is making that seem like my don't trade for Giannis take. Good God, what he is doing in Cincinnati cannot be stressed enough.
It's awesome, man. And like, we know so many Bengals fans. We worked with them in NFL. Like, I'm so happy for those guys. They get a chance to root for Joe Burrow and have this excitement playing late into the season.
And then they're built around him.
Yeah.
They built around him. I mean, Jamar Chase is as good as they come. And T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. And Joe Mixon and Perine and Hurst.
Samaj Perine doing it, yeah. But Rich, he was the number 1 pick, so shouldn't we have expected a little some of this?
No, you could take a look at the list of number 1 overall picks who don't do it, it would take a long time or can't overcome. There's some of them, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hoping that they are not only somebody who can help you win, but change your franchise. This is the Cincinnati Bengals we're talking about. I mean, the ultimate sign, I think, of Joe Burrow changing the culture of the Cincinnati Bengals is the fact that Mike Brown made a deal to sell the naming rights to the stadium.
Yep.
He broke down. He's like, let's go find somebody, and it's unbelievable. It's Paycor, and it's because he knows he's got to pay Joe.
Money talks.
And that's coming with each pass and win. Burrow is kind of like Flacco's run on steroids. Pay me. But he doesn't do that. He just lets his play talk. He doesn't talk very much. He is chill. And he is an assassin coming for your team. They can absolutely beat the Chiefs and beat the Eagles or the Niners. That's a fact. Now, everyone else can do that to Cincinnati, too. It is wide open. But the fact that the Bengals have a seat at this table again and haven't lost since Halloween, coming in as a red-hot team, look out.
You better send those refunds.
You are correct. To all those who said he's not going to do it for the Bengals or isn't worthy of what have you. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.